Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Chloe Feng. Our top stories tonight. Havoc in Brazilian capital as demonstrators ransack Congress and other government buildings. Court determines two former Stand News editors have a case to answer regarding their sedition trial. And Chelsea are knocked out of the FA Cup after a 4-0 drubbing by Manchester City. There was chaos in the Brazilian capital as loyal supporters of former leader Jair Bolsonaro ransacked Congress and other government buildings. Hundreds of arrests were made in Brasilia, and President Lula has vowed justice for the perpetrators. Sachin Kadvi reports.
In scenes reminiscent of the U.S. Capitol riots 2 years ago, supporters of former right-wing Brazilian leader Jair Bolsonaro ransacked Congress in the capital, Brasilia. Protesters occupied the foreground and the roof of the complex, while street vendors set up stalls outside, offering refreshments. Encouraging others to join, rioters made their way inside the building by smashing glass doors and using fire hoses to flood the place. It seemed like a normal day as people walked in and out of the building and on the roof to take in the visitors. Police helicopters circled above to gauge the situation, but few officers were on the ground. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who only took office last week, declared emergency powers from Sao Paulo state, where he was inspecting a flood-affected region. The left-wing leader issued a national order asking the federal government to take over the security of the capital after Brasilia's governor failed to take any action. Riot and military police finally arrived at Congress hours later. They dispersed protesters by firing tear gas, while security forces chased down troublemakers on the roof. But many hardline demonstrators refused to leave the area, instead engaging police in a tense standoff in the nearby streets. They piled up metal barricades, hoping to slow down the clearance operation. Some even stood in front of armored vehicles to block their advance. More than 400 people were arrested as Justice Minister Flavio Dino vowed to reprehend those responsible for what he called an attempted coup. Bolsonaro, who is said to be in the U.S. state of Florida at the time of the riot, condemned the actions of the protesters in a tweet. But the politician, dubbed the Tropical Trump, rejected Lula's claim that he incited the attacks and defended the rights to peaceful protest. Sachin Kadvi, HKIBC.
Back in Hong Kong, a former Tunmen district councillor has pleaded guilty to defrauding the government with a bogus claim for election expenses. But first, the district court ruled that two former editors of Stand News have a case to answer. Janice Low reports.
Chief editor Chung Pui-kun and his associate Patrick Lam of the now-defunct online media outlet Stand News were back at the district court on the 16th day of their trial. The pair and the holding company of the pro-democracy news outlet were charged with conspiracy to publish seditious materials. Today, the court was shown a video recording of Chung's interview with National Security Police under caution. The former editor-in-chief confirmed he held the final decision for the publication of articles. Of 17 articles which the prosecution said were seditious, Chung admitted approving the publication of 15 of them, but he refused to disclose who had approved the 2 remaining articles after he stepped down from his role. Chung also said he had nothing to say when the officer asked him if anyone had instructed the writers to compose the articles in question. Judge Kwok Wai-kin ruled that there is a prima facie case to answer, and the prosecution will open its case tomorrow. Over at the Eastern Magistrates Courts, a former Tuen Mun district councillor admitted to trying to cheat authorities out of $24,000 in campaign subsidies in his failed bid to run for the Legislative Council. Jiang Ken-wing pleaded guilty to violating the Elections Corrupt and Illegal Conduct Ordinance and attempted fraud. Asking for leniency, Jiang said he was deeply remorseful after his arrest, and it is very likely he will be stripped of his social worker license. But Magistrate Edward Wong said the case was very serious in nature and a prison term was necessary. The fact that Zhang was serving as a district councillor at the time made his acts more disappointing, Wong said. The 28-year-old has been remanded in custody until sentencing later this month. Janice Low, HKIBC.
The High Court has granted a bankruptcy order against Wilson Yip, the founder of beauty chain Bonjour. A creditor has earlier filed a bankruptcy order against Yip and his family. It is believed that Yip has racked up debts of over $20 million. Yip did not appear in court today, despite indicating last week that he would attend the hearing. The court has declared Yip bankrupt as a result and made a winding up order to a subsidiary of Bonjour Holdings Limited for owing $3.9 million. Bonjour has suspended trading on the stock exchange since June last year. Several lawmakers urged the financial secretary to issue another round of consumption vouchers and speed up the adoption of technology. The Alliance of Independent Lawmakers, known as G19, met Chin today to give their views on the budget next month.
The government actually has quite a lot of measures in terms of promoting innovation and technology, and they do have concrete targets in terms of I'm Smart downloading and usage. The government could actually leverage on the two initiatives and somehow leave it as a coordinated approach. For example, encourage the citizens to download I'm Smart as a tool or as a platform together with the consumption vouchers, or as a prerequisite for the consumption vouchers.
The group submitted a range of proposals from housing to the economy to Chen, who will deliver his budget on February the 22nd. But the lawmakers conceded that even if consumption vouchers will come back for a third year, the amount will be smaller this time. A new lab tucked away at the corner of Hong Kong Baptist University promises something different for users. It is home to the world's first 360-degree LED cinema. Macy Mark explains what's so special.
In a world first, the Hong Kong Baptist University's Visualization Research Center has unveiled its 360-degree LED visualization cinema. At $7 million, the state-of-the-art facility doesn't come cheap. But the people behind the project insist it's worth the money.
With projection, the projector will be up there, and if I'm standing here, I will cast a shadow. So with the projection environment, you have to limit how close people come to the screen. With LEDs, there are no shadows. You can come as close as you want, and the image is not interfered with by your shadow.
Once I put on these 3D glasses and a headset, I am fully immersed in a three-dimensional environment where I can move my head and open up a mysterious box. It is truly a one-of-a-kind experience which cannot be captured on camera. The center was set up last year with a $35 million grant from the Innovation and Technology Commission. It has since collaborated with the City University and an institution in Switzerland. Another highlight is this 180-degree eye-dome cinema, which promises an immersive experience. But the public wishing to catch a glimpse of the futuristic facilities might have to wait. Shaw said the center is partnering with Hong Kong Ballet to do a dance piece.
In the long term, one can imagine that one way this system will operate across museums, both within Hong Kong and internationally, is that it will be a rental system. That there will be one of these or more that travel depending on the demand.
The project will run for 2 years, and partners can rent the systems for free. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
Overseas again, for the first time since taking office, U.S. President Joe Biden paid a visit to a border town notorious for illegal crossings. Biden was seen talking to Border Patrol agents at El Paso in Texas, where a metal fence is erected along the frontier with Mexico. The issue of border security has been a major sticking point in U.S. politics. Republicans have long accused the Democratic president of turning a blind eye to illegal immigrants from Central and South America. In response, the Republican-controlled Texas government has sent immigrants on buses taking them to Democratic states. Texas Governor Greg Abbott greeted Biden at the airport and gave him a letter with a list of demands.
I urge him in the letter to see the real chaos, what everybody here may already know, and that is that there were thousands of migrants sleeping on the streets in El Paso that have been cleaned up in the past few days. And I ask him to go see the areas where we have these mass migration crossings and go visit with the people who own property and live on the border whose lives have been totally disrupted. And then I said, you, Mr. President, you have a job to do, and that is to enforce the immigration laws already on the books, and outline 5 ways in that letter of what it can do right now without any new law having to be passed.
Hong Kong's benchmark index surged to its highest level in nearly half a year, boosted by Alibaba's impressive rebound. The Hang Seng Index wrapped the session up by 1.9%, while the tech index edged up 3.1%. Alibaba was one of the main contributors. The tech giant jumped 8.7% following the announcement that its founder Jack Ma is giving up control of its affiliate company Ant Group. The internal reorganization concluded months of antitrust dealings with mainland regulators and may pave the way for the revival of Ant's jumbo stock offering. Casino shares also benefited from the resumption of cross-border travel, with Wynn Macau and MGM China rising to their 52-week highs. And now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed up 396 points. Top 10 active stocks: Alibaba up $8.80, Tencent up $12.60, AIA down 90 cents. Hong Kong Exchange up $15, Ping An up $2.20, and Xiaomi up 86 cents. Forex trading against Hong Kong dollars, the euro is at 8.34, British pound at 9.47, Australian dollar at 5.39. Moving on to the UK market, the London FTSE is currently down 6 points. The Hong Kong General Chamber of Commerce expects the city's economy to grow by 3.8% this year. In its annual business prospect survey, the chamber also predicted a 3.3% contraction last year. But the revived tourism, convention, and retail sectors will spur the growth in 2023, said Chief Executive George Lam. The main challenge for the government, however, will be retaining the city's talent. The group called on authorities to focus on helping middle management as well as grassroots workers. On to the weather now. It will be overcast with a few rain patches tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 18 and 21 degrees. It will get more humid in the latter part of the week. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Monday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Chloe Feng. Thanks for watching. Good night.